Hi guys, welcome back to Cannock Paranormal Investigations. So this video is going to be a follow-up investigation to the previous exploration and to find the Bodhisattva Hall. And if you remember, at the end of that video we discovered some interesting footprints, we heard some interesting sounds, and we heard things like I heard a stone or a rock drop in the forest close to me. We heard a low grunt, and there's various other little bits of peripheral activity from the end of that video, and that wasn't really expected because that's not why we were at Cannock Chase in the first place that day. I was with an urban explorer, and I'll drop his link into the box at the end, into the comments. Also, for this investigation, we were to be meeting up with another couple of investigators who have their own team. Again, I'll be dropping their YouTube link into the description at the end. So yeah, this was essentially to revisit this specific area from the end of the last video and see really what kind of developed from that. With a lot of these investigations, there's nothing at all, but you never really kind of quite know. And I'll tell you now what we really wanted to be trying. We wanted to try some animal noises, and I think we were going to be trying a Bigfoot call, which allegedly is a genuine Bigfoot call, and we were going to be experimenting with turning our back on the forest to see if anything would, you know, peek out to have a look, thinking we weren't looking. And hopefully my camera was going to be set up in such a way that it would be able to capture any activity or movement whatsoever. So that was the premise of this little experiment, and I haven't reviewed any of the footage. I've also got a video. I think I just took it with my phone as I was walking, so if there's anything useful in now, I'll throw that in too, to give you an idea of a route that we were taking. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to bring up the maps and everything like that, and just to kind of refresh and remind you of where we were before. Okay, so once again, we were back in this really interesting area, and as you can see, the ley line that I mapped into it is still there, the yellow line, and there's a £1 million house which is there, which is really unusual place to have one. And I think the area that we were close to was somewhere around about, I think it may be around about here. Alright, so the area that we were pretty close to was around about here. I think this is where we were looking to get to. And we were due to rendezvous with a couple of others, but one of the biggest problems you have in this entire area is that you quickly lose signal. None of us had any form of signal while we were down here, so it was really just a case of having to lay maps for the other two to meet up with us, which, you know, it's difficult at the best of times. I think what I could have done was maybe leave a walkie-talkie for one of them to pick up, but again, that's not without its issues of them actually being able to find it, and these things do cost money to just leave them around, sort of thing. So okay, this is a little bit of a closer view of where we were, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it was around about here we were trying to get to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was around about here. So it's not too far away from the paths or anything, but I think the last time that we were there, it was we came down a path, possibly somewhere around here, and it was here that we had a bit of activity. Also, we perceived. So this was a video I filmed with my mobile phone, as you can probably tell. And I just thought we'd sort of trace the path, and actually just filmed this in case we had to come back to the area and we're having like difficulty finding landmarks, because what the chase is notorious for is there's a lot of forestry going on, and these paths can become obliterated. And I think this was probably formerly part of the woods before they did some forestry work here as well. But it's starting to be reclaimed again by nature. But yeah, these things can change so quickly, so it's worth kind of keeping videos like this just to reconnect with landmarks, if you like. Actually, what you might not appreciate fully from this video is the amount of insects that were trying to eat me and my friends. Were they there last time, or did we just not notice them?
I noticed some human tracks, but I wasn't really. I was looking for something larger, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Saw definite dog prints, including that massive fucking dog print. So we were around here. We came down here. So they've got to be around here. You know what's going to be really upsetting? I think that's it, and it's just fucking. I think these are them that have sunk into ground.
Yeah.
So I think because it's rained, I think they are fucking useless to us now.
This was the one. This was one.
Three-toed one. They were really obvious before. It were obvious.
Yeah.
What's that one there? No, I don't remember these, but they look like they could have been horse because they're nice and round. And it's like, and as much as this one seems round.
If you follow them,
like 3 fucking toes coming
but if you follow them like a natural walking, it does actually go. And there's this one here, which I've just made a mistake of treading on it. Okay.
It doesn't matter. They've washed away beyond being any use to us.
But if it was somebody, then it gives an idea that they may be heading in this direction.
You have some heavy rhinos this way now. Yeah. Really heavy.
So just pause it there. I think at this point, Kev had gone off to find a route, to see if he could find a route in the woods where we're hearing the noises from. I think he wanted to see whether there's a route through those woods, whether it's possible for something to actually move through there. Because those woods were so dark when we came down on a sunny day, and they seemed really, really dense as well. So he disappeared off to look at that. I think he found a route around the woods, but I don't think he found one that took him exactly through the woods. But it was an interesting, nevertheless, for him to go and explore that. In the meanwhile, I was trying to set up my meter so that I could actually see it if I recorded, but for some reason it was really like reflecting the light back. So, but it does have like a little whiny thing on it, which if anything comes close to it, it will start making a noise, which sounds like a really angry Geiger counter, which is pretty cool.
Biscuit. On a Garibaldi.
Yeah, go on.
I think you Garibaldis.
I mean, if nothing else, it's so peaceful there. It probably would have been a really lovely evening if it hadn't been for the insects trying to eat us alive. Is anybody there? See if you can affect the meter. Make the little blue box make a noise. Come forward, we wish you no harm. Are you a spirit of the forest?
that was moving. Let's see. It's what's that? Over there.
Yeah. Is anybody here with us? Let's make a noise. Ugh.
So that was actually Kev doing a wood knocks fair. In case you think it's a Bigfoot, that was actually Kev just doing a wood knocks.
Seen that before.
It's got a big rock.
Hmm?
It's got a big rock. Oh, I've got one on over there. Here's another one. It's a rock thing. Like a little do.
Oh,
One big rock. Two big rocks.
you find anything?
No. Brambles.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Most of brambles found me in fairness.
Mm. deer are pretty silent. Okay, just an idea before we come. Let's all look away from that area and then clap the stones. Maybe it'll encourage something to move if it thinks we're not looking. It seems counterintuitive to look the opposite way, but you see what I'm saying.
So, as you may have heard Kev just say, his idea was first to basically have our backs to this particular forest here, this particular wood, and play some, do some stone clacking. I think maybe wood knocks coming up, and he's going to play what he considers to be potentially a Bigfoot call or Bigfoot noise that's actually been recorded from someplace else, so probably America. So yeah, it's a interesting concept that if you have your backs to something, then they're more likely to show themselves. I did remember reading a while back that in Africa, I think it was a Serengeti, that the locals would wear a mask of a human like face mask, but they'd wear it on the back of their heads, so it looked as if they're actually looking towards the animals, and this was so that animals were less likely to attack them from behind, because they'd be looking essentially directly at the animal, and the animal wouldn't be able to distinguish between the actual face and a picture of a face on a mask, which is quite an interesting concept. So using that concept, it was the case that we were ultimately attempting to lure something out by not looking towards it, if that makes any sense. So yeah, and this is the first time I've actually seen this, so I'm really curious just to kind of focus on anything, any noises, any visual stuff that happens in the next few minutes. Once I've set up my camera, that is.
Identify that screen.
Yeah.
If I actually fucking have it turned on to the fucking...
Just to say as well, this was coming up to 9:30 in the evening as well. I'm not sure why the date says 2018 now. That's the Bigfoot call. Just looking for any movement at all.
Not off last week.
Shall we see if we can find the others? Yeah, actually, it's a good idea. Carry that. With us. Not any use.
My sticky thing. A bit cumbersome, that one.
hear something.
Yeah, I keep hearing something over here as well. I heard a few thuds and then a few noises that could be people echoing down, but
So this was about 5 minutes later. We got back to where the £1,000,000 house was, and instead of heading back up the track towards Castle Ring, we decided to kind of go a little bit the opposite direction, probably about 20-30 foot, and we discovered this gorgeous little pool with a stream, and it ran down, and we think it kind of runs down to like a bigger river or perhaps another stream. But yeah, it was interesting because we then discover a bit part of the structure which is still a bit of a curiosity to us. So this is 20 to 10 on the evening now. And apart from 2018, the rest of the date is indeed correct.
down there.
A building?
It's got to be an old. I don't think it's building, I reckon. Do you reckon this is part of perimeter wall for Bud, is it?
Wow. Do you know, I don't know.
The wall goes up there that way, I think.
It kind of looks like a
Yeah, I thought that
like
way.
a chimney. The best wall that goes with a chimney.
Yeah, it's a bit hollow.
Yeah.
It's support for the wall that would have gone.
That's pretty cool though, that is.
Yeah, now random. I'm pretty sure this is going to be part of that perimeter wall for Bud, is it? Little random thing.
I just looked through here thinking there was an exit for that water to come out here, but then I've seen this and that water. It looks like it goes off that way and the other way. I wonder if we go down this path a bit, or if we see anything.
Let's have a look.
Okay.
Coming trees now.
Yeah, but it's not only put under the here when they built bodies there. It seems to be too far back, but I don't know where the perimeter wall would have gone, but it's the only thing that I can think of.
Let's go ahead. Yeah.
see it, there's no way. What you do is look at it, aerial plans, like slowly strike, isn't it? It's weird, days.
Somebody might be on a motorbike. Just remember that.
There's walls, but there's no way. Yeah, but when we were at that desert manor, there's some walls leading off of it. So there were definitely a perimeter wall going right around the estate, and in those days, they had big estates. It could stretch down here. It's all I can think of anyway. We do seem further back, but I don't know the layout of that wall, the way it zigzags.
So just pausing it there. This was a little bit further on, so we're talking about 10 to 10 on the evening, and we were at a point where if you watch some of the previous video of I think it's Castle Ring, and I think it's dated 19th of July or 7th of July or something like that, 2019. And this is the area where I had a lot of meter activity previously. So we're just a few meters up from the £1 million house, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to just put my meter down on the ground and see if I could get any reactions from whatever's in the environment around me. Sounds so peaceful, doesn't it? Are there any spirits of the forest? The spirit of the forest, come and make yourself known.
until it box don't give a shit. He's like, fuck off. Well, how close are we to Castle Ring?
Not too far.
I bet there's people up there like, what?
The water's been running down here off the river. Mad, eh?
Yeah. Must have been a torrent.
Yeah. Someone told me that in the week, Cannock had a hell of a downfall.
Little fob.
Oh. So that was the end of the video segments, and they probably kind of appear quite random, but it's just how I kind of film things, and I try to keep them in sequence. So so this last picture is a close-up of where we were, and what essentially happened was that the two guys that were supposed to meet us ended up somewhere in this field. There's a tower just there, that little dark mark, and that tower is quite high, and if you go up that tower you can see quite a bit of a chase. So in the event of any smoke, I'm not sure how old the tower is, but in the event of like a forest fire, they can get a good bird's eye view of it, I suppose. But unfortunately they were here and we were here. So interestingly enough, when we were playing all the noises and doing the stone clacking and the wood knocks here, they were sort of in this field and they vaguely heard the Bigfoot noise that we were playing, but they were sort of unaware of whereabouts it was. However, what they actually heard from here was they later reported to us that they heard a thumping in these woods just here, and they described it as not quite as heavy or deep or loud as what they'd heard previously when I think there was about 11 of us at Milford Common. But nevertheless, they definitely heard some noise here, they reported, which is interesting because we were hoping to hear noise around this area, but it might have just been beyond our range of hearing if something was making a slightly more gentle thumping sound in a forest here. So that was interesting. Eventually we did meet up with them at Castle Ring. By the time I got to Castle Ring, I got the signal back, or we all got the signal back on our phones, so I was able to phone the other team up, and for sure they were on their way back there anyway. So we kind of like passed like ships in the night, which was a bit funny, really, but a bit annoying as well. But it was useful actually to have them in that separate field, because if we hadn't, we would never have known about the noises they heard just after we played our Bigfoot call. So folks, I hope you enjoyed that video, and it was essentially weirdly a little bit more exploring, as probably equally along with a paranormal investigation. I don't tend to do a lot of call outs on investigations. We try to elicit responses through other forms of stimuli rather than talking to whatever may be out there, which may or may not understand what the heck we're talking about anyway. And I try not to be too disingenuous if I am doing a call out, as I'm not actually convinced that energies sort of respond to that kind of elicitation, calling out to spirits and what have you. And I think in other circumstances, if you're in a house or a pub or something, then I feel more comfortable about having a dialogue with the unknown, rather than talking to the trees and the bushes. I think I'd rather go along the route of playing animal noises, to see if we can elicit any reaction. But yeah, it was interesting. Again, it felt very exploratory, and we will return to that area. It was quite a grueling walk. I'm not going to lie about that. Particularly going back, as it just seems to be like miles and miles to get back to Castle Ring, which is immensely high up compared to the lower paths. I think it's something like 150 meters back to Castle Ring, and it's up a long grinding slope. But yeah, when the weather's a little bit cooler, it may be a bit more of a kind of palatable walk to carry out. There may be closer areas that we can park in order to get access, but we're definitely going to revisit this area. There's a few other interested parties in coming with us, and we always welcome other people on board. So because essentially it can change the dynamics of what happens on an investigation when new people come along. But having said that, it's great to just record what we can, and sadly there wasn't any activity this time, not that we were aware of, but this is how most investigations go. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I've got another video which I need to edit and put up when I get a chance, which is from Milford Common from June. So hopefully I'll have that one up in a couple of days perhaps for you. In the meantime, I'll get this one edited and post this one. So yeah, take care of yourselves, and hopefully I'll see you back on my channel real soon.